Welcome to Timeless Cinematheque, where classic cinema is reborn. Tonight, we revisit one of the great landmarks of silent film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923, starring the legendary Lon Chaney. With groundbreaking makeup, massive sets, and an unforgettable performance, this adaptation of Victor Hugo's novel was a cinematic spectacle of its time and remains hauntingly powerful to this day. Let's journey back to 15th century Paris, where love, cruelty, and tragedy echo from the bells of Notre Dame. This new version features new audio created specifically for the Timeless Cinematheque, dubbed dialogue, music, and sound effects. Let us know in the comments below how you like it. And now, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, the cathedral church of Paris. A spiritual haven in a brutal age. A sanctuary where the persecuted could find protection. The enduring monument of a mighty faith. It was in the broad cathedral square that the people met to celebrate the festival of food. The one day of the year when people, crushed by tyranny, gave themselves to unrestrained pleasure. 10 years before Columbus discovered America, there dwelt within the rocky fastness of the cathedral a creature whom the Parisians of that day knew as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Quasimodo. Deaf, half-blind, shut off from his fellow men. By his deformities, the bells were the only voice of his groping soul. To the townspeople, he was an inhuman freak, a monstrous joke of nature. And for their jeers, he gave them scorn and bitter hate. His Most Christian Majesty, Louis XI, a crafty oppressor of his people, whose dungeons were always full, whose executioners always busy.
We like not this ribaldry. It savors of disrespect to both God and King.
Paris had an uncrowned monarch, Clopin, the king of beggars, the enemy of kings. Dom Claude, the saintly Archdeacon of Notre Dame. The cathedral also sheltered the archdeacon's brother, Jehan, who had forsworn a priest's robes for more worldly garb.
So even you bow your head to my reverend brother?
Our day is coming when we'll bow our head to no man.
Freak is my slave. He will be useful to us.
Esmeralda, a child of mystery, whom Clopin had bought from gypsies and raised as his own.
Cursed gypsy, daughter of Satan, hell take you.
Marie, queen of the gypsies.
That poor mad creature was once rich and happy. while she was away. Her child was never found. She secludes herself in this dark place and lives but to curse and pray.
Give her back to me, O Lord, if only for a moment. Give me back my baby.
The festival continued on into the night. A poet of the streets. The climax of the festival came when the ugliest man in Paris was crowned King of the Fools.
Let Esmeralda dance. Call her out.
Clopin's fierce heart burned at the injustice of the world, but it became tender only to his foster child. With the noise of the reveling mob still ringing in his ears, King Louis tried to find peace in his favorite lodging place, the fortress of the Bastille.
Send in that young rascal, Phoebus de Chateaupers.
Phoebus de Chateaupers. Men yielded to his sword, and women to his smile.
This commission makes you captain of our guard. You see how we reward loyalty to the king and watchfulness over his safety.
Madame de Gondelaurier. Fleur de Lis, fiancée of Captain Phoebus.
Fee, I know your reputation. You would say as much to any maiden.
Madame de Gondelaurier, aunt of Fleur de Lis.
Phoebus, see that pretty goat?
Very pretty, indeed.
Your company is waiting at the barracks.
Au revoir.
To Esmeralda, this dashing soldier had long been the Prince Charming of her dreams. Each time that Jehan beheld Esmeralda, he longed to possess her. Jehan knew the lonely streets where Esmeralda had to pass on her way home.
Tie up this varlet.
Alas for man's ingratitude.
It isn't safe for a pretty child like you to be out alone at this hour.
I am not afraid now.
The Court of Miracles, the City of Thieves, a hideous blot on the face of Paris, a sink from whence escaped every morning, and to which returned to stagnate every night, that stream of vice and vagrancy which ever flows through the streets of a capital. Called the Court of Miracles, because here the blind saw, because here the lame walked, it was here that Clopin reigned supreme. At the sign of the Pomme d'Ève,
Just a bit of supper, a sip of wine, before we say goodnight. For Phoebus, it was just another girl to hold in his arms. For Esmeralda, it was a golden dream come true.
Then it is true, what the fortune teller told me. That I should be wooed by a noble captain of the guards. It was put about my neck by mother. I scarce remember her, but I know that so long as I wear it, no harm can befall me.
If Mademoiselle will permit me, I shall see her safely on her way.
Those who strayed near the Court of Miracles were in danger of losing their lives. Gringoire lost his clothes.
Here is a spy of the aristocrats. We found him at our very threshold.
Who are you?
merely a poet, a singer of sweet songs, by name Gringoire.
What shall we do with this singer of sweet songs?
Hang it! Hang him!
That's what the aristocrats do to us.
Have you so little misery that you must create more? Cut him down, I say.
The hunchback, for the attempted crime of kidnapping, had his first taste of the king's justice.
For that, add 20 lashes to his punishments.
Again was a slave to suffer for his master's crime.
For nocturnal attack and disturbing the peace of His Majesty our King.
Swift run the sands of life except in the hour of pain. Thus was justice rendered in the reign of King Louis XI.
I thirst.
Curse gypsy, you should be whipped.
To celebrate the honor conferred by King Louis upon Captain Phoebus, Madame de Gondelaurier gives a ball.
Where is that young jackanapes, Phoebus?
The ball in honor of my promotion takes place tonight. You promised to go with me.
But my clothes.
I have prepared for that.
In Quasimodo's soul was born a bitter hatred for his betrayer.
Esmeralda, the captain of the guards.
Be calm, my lord, and do not stir. 'Tis he who is entrapped by her.
An aristocrat has taken our Esmeralda to the rescue.
You are fairer than any lady in France. Her Highness, Princess of Egypt. She descends from a line more ancient than that of the kings of France.
I have a message for Captain Phoebus. I am commanded to bring it to his own hands. Hold your blades. Our quarrel is with only one of you, this time. There he is.
Stop. This is my affair and mine alone. What do you mean by this outrage?
Do you think you can take our Esmeralda for your plaything? Leave her alone, or I'll slit your throat.
But I tell you, I love her.
For my sake. My place is with my people. I do not belong here.
Keep to your own women.
Esmeralda, would you forsake me now? Did you not promise to be my bride?
I do not love you.
You nobles have lorded it over us and trampled on us, but you can't do it forever.
Just when Phoebus had decided that life held no further interest,
saved my life in the Court of Miracles.
And you saved my life by bringing me this message. Let me command this honor of the Prince of Poets. She gave you the letter with her own hand?
Slowly it dawned on Clopin that he was losing Esmeralda.
As if the cursed aristocrats were not enough, the girl now talks of taking the veil.
Give myself to the Blessed Virgin, and she will give me peace.
What say you then? Half of the treasure of Notre Dame to you, for the hand of Esmeralda in marriage. See ye, 'tis gold that makes kings and keeps them on their thrones.
Gold, gold and steel, my people in the places of the mighty. Strike quickly then, else the treasure may be gone. The hour for an uprising is not yet. There lacks the spark to make my people flame.
Angeles.
Phoebus, it was only to see you once more and say goodbye. Dear heart, can you not see? I must give you up for your own sake, for your future, even your life itself.
You speak of trifles when heaven itself is at stake. By this sacred emblem I plight my troth.
king's justice.
Girl, do you persist in denying that you stabbed Phoebus de Chateaupers?
Of course I deny it. How could I? I love him more than my own life.
It was he who stabbed Phoebus.
The girl is bewitched.
Put her to the question.
The question. The system of Middle Ages to force confession.
Do you still deny?
I do. I love him. I love him.
I confess. I confess. I confess to anything you wish.
Through nights of delirium, Phoebus de Chateaupers wondered if the charge brought against Esmeralda were true, whether it was she who stabbed him.
Monsieur, the brother of the Archdeacon, inquires the health of Captain Phoebus.
The wench who stabbed you has confessed her crime. She has been ordered hanged.
Get Esmeralda.
She's been carried to prison by His Majesty's servants.
if I have to tear down Notre Dame rock by rock.
You, in the robes of the church.
Only in these robes could I pass the prison guard. Quick, come with me.
I'd rather die.
Phoebus died of his wound last night. I promised him to save you. Oh, Esmeralda, pity me. All I have done was for love of you.
Assassin!
Very well, then hang.
Suddenly, the date for Esmeralda's execution was secretly set ahead, and orders came to the hunchback to toll the death knell. For what poor soul he rang, he did not know. When the great bell tolled like that, all Paris knew some prisoner was on the way to execution.
Let me kill the gypsy, her life for the life of my child. Cursed gypsy, cursed, cursed. My baby, save her, oh God.
requiescat in pace.
A pleasant diversion for the workmen who were repairing the cathedral.
And first appear on the steps of the Cathedral of Notre Dame, there to do penance.
Sanctuary!
Would you violate the sacred law of sanctuary?
All Quasimodo knew was that this girl had once been kind to him.
My daughter, the law of sanctuary protects you pending an appeal. Until then, Mother Church will give you shelter and clothing.
The night had brought a dreamless sleep.
Esmeralda's presence inspired Quasimodo to express his wild joy in the only way he knew. Plans all made for rescuing Esmeralda on her way to the gallows, Clopin was awaiting the day that had been announced for the execution.
They feared an uprising to rescue Esmeralda. To prevent bloodshed, the king suddenly ordered her hanged today. The hour has struck. They are about to surrender the maid to the officers of the king.
You two-legged cattle, and learn how to become men. Were you not also born of women after the manner of kings? Long enough the aristocrats have treaded us as sheep. We'll show them we are wolves. Follow me to Notre Dame.
Rescue Esmeralda, sack the city.
My people will live in the palaces of the aristocrats.
Clopin's call to arms reached all the hidden corners of Paris. A kingdom was the stake.
The garrison.
preparing a fiery baptism, molten lead.
The Hunchback has sent us a battering ram!
children, I would have set you free. Fight on! Fight on!
Why do you struggle? You are mine now.
Never. God will protect me.
Lon Chaney's performance as Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame didn't just make him a star, it solidified him as the man of 1,000 faces. His transformation into the deformed bellringer, achieved through agonizing physical makeup, was more than a feat of visual shock. It was deeply human. Chaney gave a grotesque outcast a soul, a voice, without words. The film, directed by Wallace Worsley, was one of the most expensive and ambitious silent films of the 1920s. Universal spared no expense recreating medieval Paris on a massive scale. But behind the spectacle is a tragedy about prejudice, power, and unrequited love. In many ways, this adaptation softened Victor Hugo's harsher critiques of church and class. But the spirit remains. What's perhaps most striking today is the emotional depth achieved through silence. In an age before synchronized sound, this film managed to evoke terror, empathy, and sorrow, largely through performance and expression. The crowd's cruelty, Esmeralda's innocence, and Quasimodo's heartbreak play out as if carved in stone, timeless and devastating. The Hunchback of Notre Dame paved the way for horror and historical epics alike. And Lon Chaney, hunched and half-blind beneath a cathedral's shadow, gave silent cinema one of its most enduring icons. Thanks for watching Timeless Cinematheque. If you enjoyed this restored and reimagined experience, please like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the past, made new again.